What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm joined today by Tyler and Bobby Gomes. Bobby always helping us provide the great DFS knowledge that we like to weave into the show as we analyze the sides and the totals on the board. Bobby, did you catch any of the violence in the NBA last night as Stone Cold Isaiah Stewart, tried to go at the King LeBron James? And what were your takeaways from that crazy event to end the evening last night?
Yeah, it was interesting. It would have been he got hit pretty bad, Stewart. So I feel like it's probably tough to hold your composure in a situation like that. So yeah, I hate LeBron, but I feel like he's the best player ever. Kind of tough to go at the King like that. And then I was reading the Gilbert Arenas. I don't think Isaiah Stewart will be in Budapest, but I think that he should probably be a little bit more just careful with his actions on the court, I guess.
Yeah, me personally, I don't think the guy's very likable. He's just contradicting himself so many times, and I know he's done great things on the basketball court and for his own community. But just some of the stuff that he says just comes off as kind of hollow and disingenuous to me. But that's my personal opinion. And at the end of the day, has done a bunch of great stuff. Whether or not he's disingenuous when it comes to talking about basketball and those other things. Tyler, did you see the melee, the altercation, and well, it was a great fake out, right? To pretend like, oh, I'm done, and then do the spin around. I mean, I was really impressed by Stewart's
that was a bitch move by LeBron. Like, you're getting boxed out. The dude's pushing you around on the block. You see the video in slow motion. LeBron makes that little like face, like he's getting pushed, and he just reaches back and slaps the dude right across the face.
Yeah,
like. And then he tries to act like nothing happened. The other dude gets pissed. He runs and hides behind all the refs, DeAndre Jordan and Russell Westbrook.
Right.
They play again in 6 days. Isaiah Stewart already tweeted it out. He marked that game. He said November 28th, Lakers Pistons. So I hope he tabletops him. I hope he drops him right on the back of his head. I can't stand LeBron.
He just might, and I know a lot of people agree with you. I do believe he's great. I just for how good he is, he should be like the most popular athlete like ever.
Watch
right?
LeBron and the fact come that into that game like with a like probable tag, and then he'll get rolled out like right before game time.
I was about to say that. There's no way. Like they're
gonna look at that like 0 chance you're putting him on the floor.
Yeah, and then he can wear that outfit on the sideline where he looked like Curious George. Let's see what he comes into. So, all right, enough of the little NBA drama, but I had to lead with that because people were texting me about it and saying, "What is everybody saying about that?" So I had to get your thoughts because everybody wanted to know. Let's jump into the slate tonight. Start off with the Brooklyn Nets, who are -5.5, heading to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. Now this line opened at 7.5. Tyler and I were trying to figure out why before we jumped on. Oh, it's because Lauri Markkanen and Jarrett Allen are back. Lamar Stevens, Cedi Osman still doubtful. And we have news that Kevin Durant and Paul Millsap will play. Joe Harris and Bruce Brown still out. I'll start with you, Tyler, at -5.5 and a total of 208.5. What are you thinking about this game?
I mean, this game seems like a trap game almost. They're like begging you to take the Nets at that short number.
Mm-hmm.
But with the big guy back for Cleveland, Jarrett Allen, because they're missing Mobley still, right? I don't see him on the injury report, but I believe
Mobley won't be back for at least a month.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be able to rebound the ball a lot better than this Nets team. Unless the Nets just shoot lights out, I'm not sure how they're going to win this game. Mm-hmm. But I really don't want to play a side in this. I picked out a prop I like. It's going to be Darius Garland under 2.5 rebounds. You figure you're getting Allen back on the floor. He could be a black hole for rebounds. Markkanen's a 7-footer. He'll be under the hoop. They'll also have another big guy in for Cleveland. Then you got the guys on Brooklyn side with James Harden also grabbing a ton of rebounds. I just don't see enough boards left around for Garland to get 3 of them. So unless they have some bounce off the rim that shoot all the way to the outside and he just grabs them and takes off down the other end, I don't see it happening.
All right. So the prop under 2.5 rebounds for Darius Garland. That's a very creative way. When you're going to props, I think if you'd have given me 10 guesses, I still don't think I would have guessed that you're attacking that. But I love the way that you're creative in finding these angles. Bobby, the line is 5.5. Why don't you talk to us about the side and then maybe some players that are popping in your projections?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to take the home dog here in Cleveland. I just think that living a little dangerously on a Monday. But yeah, I like the home dog in Cleveland. And then on top of that, like this game's interesting. We're pretty much star for value on the slate. Deandre Bembry is someone who's popping just because he's going to see 35 minutes, but he's a 0.67 fantasy point per minute guy. So, and he's not dual position eligible. So while people will play him in cash, like in tournaments, I'd be a little skeptical if I wanted to get there. Do like Allen as a GPP play. Markkanen's price is nice. What's great about this whole situation is we can totally get off Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro. So we don't have to worry about those guys anymore. Those dusty Cleveland Cavaliers that pretty much was the focus all last week for whatever reason, just because of their price tags. KD back. I think it probably hurts Harden a little bit. It's a 10-game slate. We don't have value right now. Maybe we don't get a ton of it prior to lock, but on sites like this, just take your time. Like I don't think there's any reason to go too crazy on this first 7:00 game. A lot of low totals on the slate. So
yeah, and with not a lot of value, maybe the mid-tier, the balance build is going to be the way that a lot of you and the other coordinators go once these cores start hitting the page. But remember, that won't be for another 3 hours. So make sure you're heading on over to runpuresports.com. Use the promo code GetBets. I want you guys to get involved with our side, the bet side as well. Take advantage of all Tyler's great NFL props. And Score with D has been absolutely crushing soccer, so I had to give him a shout out. Let's jump into the Charlotte Hornets, who are plus 4.5 now, heading to Washington to take on the Wizards. Tyler, this line opened at 3. I liked it at 3. I bet it at 3. The market's moved it to 4.5. I agree with the market. What are your thoughts on the Wizards and the Hornets?
Yeah, I mean, they just played this matchup, less than a week ago. Charlotte came out with the W.
Right.
Now we're back in Washington for this game. I think, I'm with you on that. I've taken Washington here. I think they win the game outright. I think they win it by more than 5. I mean, this team's playing with great chemistry. Bradley Beal's back, so they're getting that extra offensive punch. And this Charlotte team's good. Miles Bridges has been playing great this year. But I'm still not 100% sold on them. Their defense has some troubles. They still have some troubles rebounding the ball, too. So give me the Wizards here.
All right. Now, Bobby, we don't have a lot of injury news on this one, right? So we know there's not value that's just sticking out. But we do know that Charlotte has struggled against opposing bigs there. Anyone that you're looking, I mean, Montrezl Harrell was a name that I thought about in a balanced build, but they might have priced him out for me there at 6,200. What are your thoughts on, first of all, the Wizards laying 4.5, and then who would you like to add?
I think I'm going to take the Charlotte side.
Okay.
A little differently. Take Charlotte. Obviously, the Wizards. It's different, right? Like the Wizards right now are limiting teams. Number 1 in the league in effective field goal percentage. 48% is the number right now. Hornets play fast, second in pace. Wizards 20th. For me, if you're talking about bigs, Gafford, I don't mind him. I think he's an interesting price. Plumlee. I don't love this game too much. I think Bridges would be someone I'd have interest in just because of like what I think he's capable of at likely low ownership. And then maybe you can make a case for LaMelo, right? He's 10-2. But he's getting the minutes now. His usage is up. So in tournaments, I think Bridges and Melo I would consider.
That was kind of weird. You mentioned Melo getting minutes, right? It was like there's that weird week, right, where Ish Smith was closing, and I don't know what it was. I mean, the message was sent because now it's gone back, and Melo's minutes are back. Bridges, I think you got a great point on the ownership because in a vacuum, 8-2 is good for him, right? But you guys talk about this all the time when I watch the shows that you're on when you guys are doing strictly DFS, and it's just when you're getting a guy at 6,600 for a while, right? It's hard to jump up to 8-2. Even though I think that he's properly priced at 8-2. But let's move on to the next game because with lack of injuries, I can see a lot of people avoiding that game when building their lineups unless they're specifically trying to get different. The Oklahoma City Thunder are catching 11.5, heading to Atlanta to take on the Hawks with a total of 213. Now, this Atlanta Hawks team has had some injury issues. I don't know if he shows up anymore, but DeAndre Hunter is going to be out for a while. So even though you don't see him on here, he's already out. SGA questionable. Obviously, if he's out, the Thunder, this is a wait for the news game. Maybe you jam some Thunder in there. Bogdanovich questionable as well. I'm not as worried about the Bogdanovich news from a betting perspective or from a DFS perspective. I think from a betting perspective, they can just absorb his usage so easily. You just give a little more to Herter, a little more to Reddish, a little more Gallo minutes, right? Trae Young shoots a little more. I don't think that's a big issue for a regular season game against a lottery team that's essentially tanking. I like the Hawks here. I like it now. If SGA is rolled out, I mean, it feels like a slam dunk. Even if he plays, I think it's the right position. The Hawks won their last 4 games since returning from a really tough West Coast road trip, all by at least 10 points or more, right? So not only they're winning by margin. They're so much better at home. I like Atlanta here. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like your Atlanta take two here. I think they're going to win this game. I think this has great blowout potential because we know OKC is a terrible team. They got a bunch of young guys. They might be down their best player in SGA. But one prop that sticks out to me big in this game spread with you said it, no Hunter, and there could be no Bogdanovich. They have Huter's points set at 12.5. His last 2 games, he's went for 19 and 17. Mm-hmm. You got to think they're going to put Dort on Trae Young. This could be a game where he lights it up and gets close to 20, maybe even gets over 20. So I don't hate that play right there.
I like your play. I think that might be even a little better than the one that I came up with. So congratulations there. Bobby, talk to me about the 11.5. And then Tyler brought up some great points on maybe, Herter at 4-2 is someone we should be looking at when we're building these rosters.
So what I want to know is, what do you guys think SGA plays before I give a take here?
He's tough, right? There's some teams that when they put him on there, like Anthony Davis probable, right? We just assume he's going to play. He's not on the report too often, right? I know they're careful with him, but I don't really know. Like I guess probably because we don't pay attention to OKC that much. I don't really know like how liberal they are with their injury report. If I were to guess right now, I don't know. I guess yes. I would think that he does. Yeah.
Yeah. If he plays, I'll just take Atlanta. I think Atlanta's fine. Take the 12. Clint Capella is someone in tournaments for DFS that I would have interest in. OKC is just getting dominated on the boards. Been like that all year round. If SGA sits, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Giddey, Lou Dort, I think those guys I'd have an interest in those guys and GPPs for DFS.
Okay.
That's pretty much it, though. Not too much.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick game, right? And I think if SGA plays and you can almost like fade this game. I like your good point about Capello there, though. At 7,600, with the potential for those rebounds, if he just gets you to 12 or 15 points, he'll probably have the fire next to his name. So I like that look.
I think the Herter call by Tyler for the prop, I think he would I'd have interest in him in some large field stuff.
Because we talk about not having value at 4,200 there, right? He might allow us to get up to some of these studs that we're going to talk about.
He could also get some run even in the blowout.
Good point. Yeah, good point. So, and you know what? McMillan stays with his guys. He's not going to pull them all. Even if they're up by 20, he's not going to pull them until about 4 or 5 minutes to go. So I think with each guy, you're only – 4 minutes is a lot, especially if you're stacking the game. But if you use like an individual piece and that's it, I think that you're okay and you're not necessarily blowout proof, but I don't know if it like downgrades you that much if you really like a guy like, say, if Herter's the only guy in your lineup at 4,200, I think you can get away with that game being a blowout and him still getting where you want it to be. This game, I think it's tougher to lay the points in. The Houston Rockets, same spread, plus 11.5, heading to Boston to take on the Celtics. The Celtics should be buoyed by the return of Jaylen Brown to the lineup. Kevin Porter questionable. Dennis Schroeder, questionable. Josh Richardson, questionable. Romeo Langford is in, and Robert Williams, probable. This one seems very tough to handicap without getting that news, right, on both sides, but especially the Celtics side. And the guy that I'm worried about there is Robert Williams. I think that Christian Wood is in line for a big night if he sits. I'm kind of fine staying away from this game until we get this news because – unlike the other ones, I think there's a good chance. Like we've seen Williams on this report and not play like a couple times already. I think this is a tough one to handicap. Assuming everybody played, it sucks laying 11.5 2 games in a row, but the Rockets have been absolutely terrible. I'm completely fine staying away from it, though. I guess I should bring up the total is 213. Again, boy, this is just a mirror of the previous Hawks game. We'll start with you, Bobby. What are your thoughts on the Rockets and the Celtics?
Yeah, like the Rockets to cover the 11 here.
Oh, you like them to bounce back? They've been getting blown out. You think this is the night they keep it competitive, right?
The Celtics play down to their competition, so I wouldn't mind taking the points with the Rockets, taking the 11.5 or whatever it is now. Yeah, you hit it. Christian Wood, if he plays, really like him. I think he's interesting. Kevin Porter's questionable now. I would have interest in Kevin Porter if he plays. Jalen Green also. They would all be tournament plays. These are not cash game plays. It's very dangerous to an 11.5 total to play Rockets here, but it's also the reason why I would have intrigue in GPPs, just because a lot of people are going to be scared away from them. And there's some value here. They play minutes. If this game stays close, their coach will play the minutes. So I don't mind getting to some of these pieces.
All right, Tyler, what do you think about this game? I like I said, I lean Boston, but I mean Bobby's got a great point there about them playing down to the competition. Who are you? Which way are you leaning in this one, Tyler?
The more I look at it, they do play down to their competition. The last couple of years of betting NBA, when teams return a star, it usually takes a game or two for them to like feel them back in. Houston's been in Boston for at least a night because Jalen Green was posting on Instagram yesterday of pictures him in Boston. So it's not like they just got there today. They're going to be rested. I'd probably take the points too here the more I look at it with Houston, but I'm not sure they can win the game outright. The last time they played was Jalen Green's explosion game where he went for 30. But the prop that sticks out to me now is Jaylen Brown on a minutes restriction, this being his first game back. I see nothing yet that says he is.
I haven't seen anything yet either, but I would assume that he'll play in the low 30s.
I mean, they set his points prop at 19.5, and you look at the games he's played this year, 46, 9 points, 30, 34, 28, 28, 17. Like, that 19.5 could be a gift if he's going to play 30-plus minutes. And
I think it's 30 and plus just a little bit. I'd be really surprised if he gets over 35.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know if he's going to be on a minutes restriction before I lock that one in. But if he's going to get full run, he's going to blow that 19.5 out of the water. Yeah,
you got a great point there. I'm really curious to see if he does full run. Bobby, when you have the projections you pull up, did you have like a consensus minutes for Jaylen Brown, or is that just a mystery at this point?
I can check. I might have to find it. It might take a little time. So you guys.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'd say while you do that, there's one other point. What was the other point I was going to make about that game? I can't remember. So let's just move on to the next game, and we'll double back to it if it's necessary. Wow, the Pacers keep taking money. Down to 1.5 here, and there's no news, right? Nothing's changed.
31 minutes for Brown?
Yeah, okay, that's what I kind of thought too. So yeah, 31 is what they're projecting through the statistical projection models there, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still probably going to take that over. There was one game he played 31 minutes, 48 seconds. He put up 28. Another game he played 33 minutes, 28.
Not to mention, it's a fairly good matchup if he's got Kevin Porter checking him, right?
Kevin Porter or Jalen Green, neither can really play defense.
I don't think they'll put Jalen Green on. He's too small, right?
And you know
they do.
He does start shooting guard for them. Porter's technically the point guard.
Yeah.
One thing about Jaylen Brown too, he's going to chuck.
Yeah, he's going to shoot the ball.
He's going to chuck. Even 31 minutes, he's full go. He's chucking. So,
have you heard the rumor that him and Tatum don't really like each other?
I don't think they mesh well together. Watching them play, I think if you separated them, I think they'd be better players.
No, they're very. I don't know. I think that's a really good take. Is like they kind of both do the same thing from the wing.
I think if you traded Brown for Ben Simmons, I think both fit better.
Wow. I think if you do that, Philly would be a serious contender.
Let Jaylen Brown just be the outside guy while Embiid's on the inside. Simmons plays the defense while Tatum just torches you on offense.
Yeah, Simmons would love. Tatum would love that.
They're in the same division.
Tatum would love that. He'd be like, "Oh, you're bringing in a star that doesn't shoot, and I get more shots."
He's like, "I'm gonna love this."
Yeah, I heard there's some just not that they don't like each other, but that they don't get along, right? I think Jaylen Brown's kind of like that West Coast school, and Tatum is kind of more that East Coast style. I don't know how well their personalities are meshing. Although, to be fair, Kobe and Shaq didn't really get along, and they won 3 titles. So we will see where that goes. So talk to me about this Pacers line. Down to plus 1.5. The Bulls -1.5. I'm surprised the market likes Indiana so much here. Number one, because the Bulls are the darling of the public right now, right? So sharps like them because they're popping in our numbers. When we're running models, they're going to tell you to bet the Bulls. The public likes them because they're fun, historical franchise, getting back on the map. Zach LaVine just keeps getting better and better. And the Pacers keep taking money. I don't really understand this. Why do you think the Pacers are taking money, Tyler? Is it just because they're pretty close to being back to full strength here? Like, it's in Chicago.
That's my guess, is them being back to full strength. Mm-hmm. It's looking like, let me find him real quick on this list of 10 games. Vucevic is out. Caruso could be questionable. He might not play.
I guess Caruso sits, maybe they know something that we don't about Caruso.
That's the other
thing.
He's been
a huge defender for
this
him.
number just keeps dropping. I think they do know something that's just not out yet. Somebody's going to get listed on this injury report. Mm-hmm. And then looking at how these teams match up, like you figure the two big guys in the middle for Indiana should have the advantage. Mm-hmm. Karis LeVert has good enough defense to slow down Zach LaVine, I think. Brogdon and Lonzo, they're both defensive guards that can shoot threes, so they cancel each other out. So it's like, where's the difference here outside of the big man for Indy, who are going to have a giant advantage on the boards, who are going to clean up all the offensive glass and just put them right back in?
The difference is DeRozan and LaVine are both better scorers than anyone Indiana has.
Yeah, but the defense, I think, on Indiana side cancels that out.
Okay, I'm not bought in on the Indiana defense yet. I think they have like all the pieces, but they're just not playing together.
Yeah, not playing together yet, but this matchup,
they'll get there.
I think they match up very well. So
okay,
give me Indiana.
I think you made some good arguments there. So I like Chicago. Tyler likes Indiana. Bobby, be the tiebreaker. Who do you like here?
I'm with Tyler. Going to take Indy.
All right, I love it.
I just don't think they have the front court protection with Vooch out to really handle Sabonis, and he's getting back to full strength. In terms of DK, not a ton on DK on FanDuel. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, I think, will be pretty popular. Mm-hmm. Tony Bradley at 3-3 on DK, I don't hate. He's going to have to deal with Sabonis. So, yeah, I don't know. Not too much on the Pacers side because they all kind of eat into each other at this point. Maybe.
Yeah, a full-strength Pacers team is tough to roster. Cool. Well, you guys both like Indiana. I like Chicago. And then just my final pushback before we go to the last game. Vucevic being out, I think that helps them defensively. I actually would rather play Sabonis against Vucevic with how bad he is. But we will see. You guys, but where my point kind of falls apart is, okay, Tony Bradley gets those starter minutes, right? The 28 or the 30. But the drop-off now when we go to the bench once again, because then we get what minutes are we getting from who jumps in there as the backup center if Bradley starts? Oturu? Daniel Oturu?
Shoot.
Oturu gets
this is also a back-to-back for the Bulls. I didn't realize that they played yesterday.
Yeah, maybe that's why the market likes them too. So are they still in the season though? At home,
they don't play a big man off the bench spread.
They just go small.
Yeah, Javonte Green 16 minutes. The guard out of Illinois.
Okay, that makes sense. So Javonte Green's probable.
Yeah, 20 minutes out of the guards. Kobe White 20 minutes. Derek Jones 22 minutes. So Derek Jones is your big man off the bench.
I think that makes Bradley like a pretty interesting.
I know. I was going to say I'm throwing him in this little lineup that I kind of make while we're talking right now because yeah, they're really going to need him tonight. So what does he usually pop at between like 24 and 28? He probably gets over 30 tonight. So that could definitely help some projections when you're looking at that team. The Orlando Magic are plus 13.5 heading to Milwaukee. And this is one that I think it's tough to navigate. So I'm glad that you're here, Bobby. Let's look at this Orlando injury report. E'Twaun Moore out. Cole Anthony out. Gary Harris out. Michael Carter-Williams, I don't know if he's even played this year. So that's 4 in the guard position that are out. I'm not getting involved in this game. 13.5 is a lot of points. Milwaukee's been inconsistent. If there's a night that they might just screw around for 3 quarters and then pull away at the end, it seems like it could be this game. So I'm staying away from the side and the total. I'll start with you, Bobby, though. How do we navigate this news? Who's the guy that we're using here?
Yeah, I think Jalen Suggs and RJ Hampton are going to be 2 guys that I'm going to have interest in.
Okay.
For the Magic. And then, yeah, I like Wendell Carter a good bit. Terrence Ross seems really sneaky at 3-7. Like he would be someone I'd be interested in if Cole Anthony wasn't able to go in this situation.
Well, he's confirmed out. So
He's
run your projections with no Anthony. Unless they change it, but they've said he's out.
Yeah, Chuma Okeke might get minutes also.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of this is like Giannis is gonna crush.
So do you like Giannis as the top spend up tonight then against this like kind of weak Magic?
I think he's the top spend. Yeah, like he's 12K, like definitely too cheap. He's got the highest ceiling projection. He's easily the top spend. Bobby Portis, I think, is somewhat interesting, more on FanDuel than DK. Yeah, in terms of the line, I think they get blown out. The Bucks. I mean the Magic. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks and the points.
All right. I think that's enough on this game. Let's move on to the next one. The Timberwolves are now -3. This opened at 2, went out to 4. Pelicans got a little bit of buyback, which does not surprise me because here's the deal. So the Pelicans played so many games without Brandon Ingram. So if you're just, you just run the stats and that's all you do, it's going to tell you that the Pelicans are worse than they really are. I think that the other people are seeing this and saying, hey, the numbers on this Pelicans team is wrong. They're not as bad with Brandon Ingram back in the lineup. Who else do I have on that injury report? Nasri, questionable. Josh Okogie, questionable. Of course, Zion's always out. And Devontae Graham, questionable on the New Orleans side. But Graham's been questionable for a while, and he keeps getting run, so I'm expecting him to play. I like the Timberwolves here, coming off that big win. I mean, they absolutely throttled Memphis the other night. This team's starting to come together. I think they realize that they build this team around Edwards, right, and let Towns and Russell be the supporting parts, right? I think you're seeing that the changing of the guard when it comes to leadership of that team. I like this Minnesota team a lot. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Pelicans.
And I don't hate that. I
like Valanciunas, gets cat defense. Ingram's back. I like Ingram. It could be not obviously they have like a pretty elated win the other night. Like I could see maybe they take their foot off the gas in one way or another. I just like the Pelican side. I think Brandon Ingram and Jonas are interesting in GBPs. For DFS, Josh Hart's going to be someone people consider. And then Edwards and D'Lo. Edwards is coming in at a higher ownership clip than D'Lo. Why not just play D'Lo in that scenario?
Oh, really? So you like Russell more there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what these numbers are here. Interesting. Let me pull it up. All right, Tyler, why do that? Can you go ahead and give me your thoughts on the Timberwolves and the Pelicans?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Timberwolves are going to run this team over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a 43-point win on Saturday night against Memphis. None of them guys broke 30 minutes, so they're all going to be fresh here. I think they just come out shooting the ball lights out again. Russell was hitting his threes. Edwards was hitting his threes. They were getting out in transition. Cat might be a little bit limited by Jonas's defense, but I think the guards are going to have a day here for Minnesota. So I think they cover the 2.5 and win the game.
All right. And did you go over? I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's what I was looking up right now.
Yeah.
And so Edwards is 7-4 right now, and then I put him in the lineup, and then I forgot to see where Russell is. Where's Russell at?
Russell's priced.
Russell's actually priced higher.
He's priced higher, and his ownership clip is Edwards is coming in with more ownership. So,
well, that's because he's lower priced, and don't you think he has higher upside? I mean, if I'm just going for a tournament,
or they're coming in around even. Whoever gets higher, I think Edwards will come in higher because he's cheaper, and then you just play Russell.
Okay, and that's a good way to get different, and that's something that you
I found a prop I like
are always talking about. Let's hear it.
They're playing Jared Vanderbilt a bit more time these couple games here. They have his points, rebounds, and assists set at 13.5. Last game, he went for 5 points, 3 assists, 10 rebounds. The game before that, 6 points, 2 assists, 12 rebounds. So, I mean, this guy's putting up the numbers, and they're setting that number way too low. He's closing in on that number with just the rebounds. He gets a couple offensive boards and just puts the ball back in, you're golden.
Okay, so give that out again for everybody.
Jared Vanderbilt over 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right, Jared Vanderbilt, who's a young player that I'm trying to think came out, really had a rough rookie year, but now is kind of becoming like he's never going to be a star, but he's going to be a nice, solid contributing role player maybe on a good team. So, good for him, and I kind of like that play as well with Jared Vanderbilt trying to get a little more run there for the Timberwolves. The Phoenix Suns are -5, heading to San Antonio to take on the Spurs. The market, I agreed with here. The market liked the Spurs. This opened at 6, maybe some 6.5 for a smidge, and now it's down to 5. I see why the money is coming in on San Antonio. My idea is Phoenix is on a hot streak right now. So their model is going to overvalue them just a bit. Spurs in the big bounce back spot, right? Because they were doing pretty good. They've got absolutely throttled last week. Read about Thad Young was talking about Devin Vassell called a team meeting, right? And Vassel's only a second or third year player. So it's good to see him taking a leadership role. We got the younger players getting involved here. The idea is, at +5, hey, they're just going to keep it close. Maybe Phoenix still gets the win, but you got those points to go ahead and cover you. What do you think about the Phoenix Suns taking on the San Antonio Spurs, Bobby?
Yeah, so I like the Spurs as well. Think they're a good up-and-coming team, like you kind of just broke down. In terms of DFS, like not too much. Maybe Derek White. On the other side, I think DeAndre Ayton's price is pretty good at 7,100 versus this Spurs team in the front court. But I don't know. Cam Johnson, I guess, at 3.5, he's fine. And you can play Murray. I don't know what Murray's ownership is going to come in at, but in tournaments, I don't know. Chris Paul defense. Chris Paul's getting up there in age, though. So,
yeah,
that's pretty much all I got.
Tyler, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough game for me. I maybe wanted to target some DeJounte Murray props because just like Bobby just said, Chris Paul is getting old. That defense was elite a few years ago. But you look at the numbers now, they're sacrificing close to 24 points to opposing point guards per game. His points prop is there like right around 18, 19 and a half. He could easily go over that, but I could see this game being a blowout either way, with one of the teams just showing up and the other one just puts their foot on their neck. So I'm probably not going to have anything invested in this game.
Bobby, as a DFS guy, how upset were you that Frank Kaminsky's out for a little while, right? I mean, he was the star of like winning lineups there for a whole couple weeks, right? Big loss for the Suns.
I think that what gives like Ayton the bump, Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
Cam Johnson's looked pretty good these last.
He chucks too. That guy's never met a shot he doesn't like. He's not worried about pissing his teammates off by being a ball hog.
Yeah. No, I don't mind Cam Johnson.
All right. Bookmaker, stop logging me out. We were on the last game of the night, I think. So I'll just go off the top of my head. The Kings, it was 2 before Bookmaker logged me out. -2 here. Maybe moved with some news that Tobias Harris is now doubtful. I don't know if we have him officially out. I was reading officially out. Basketball Monsters telling me doubtful here. Of course, Embiid's still out. Danny Green's still out. Nobody on the Sacramento side. So, hey, pretty fun. We talked about the drama, right? How symbolic was it this weekend? Did you see that, Bobby? There's a guy in Sacramento who has way too many drinks.
Yeah, you should be celebrating right now, Spread.
I am.
I did see that.
He throws up all over the court. I mean, if that's not just symbolic of how we as Kings fans feel, right? Having to watch this mess year in and year out. So Alvin Gentry takes over tonight. I wrote about it today, and I talked about it. And I don't know if it was the show with you, Bobby, because this was last Wednesday. It was with who comes on Wednesday? Hoop. Oh, but Hoop wasn't there. I was by myself. But or it was with Tyler, and we talked about superstar subtraction, right? That's one of my theories. I like to pat myself on the back on it. Not that I thought of it first, but I gave it that fun, cool name. But the new coach bump is obviously a theory that we like to use as well. And I think it comes into play, right? You got all these guys. We know the rotations are going to get a little different, right? He's not going to come in there and just run the same rotations that Walton was running. All these players know, hey, these minutes are up for grabs. I have an opportunity for more usage. If I'm getting close to a contract year, I'm going to be able to put up bigger numbers. It should be excited about having a bigger role in the offense and, of course, on the defensive end. I think for at least one night, they get a new coach bump with Alvin Gentry. And I like Sacramento here to get it done. And also, I like their fans to not throw up on the court tonight. What do you think tonight, Bobby?
Yeah. So if Harris is out, or for what I just think Georges Yang at 4.2 is going to be really interesting for GPPs. Not for GPPs, just on the slate in general. GPPs cash. He's going to be very chalky. Seth Curry, I think, is another great play. I do like the Kings, though, from the betting side. Like, if you think the coach bump, Alvin Gentry, might help out Buddy Hield. Marvin Bagley, like, didn't play under Walton. Like, is he going to play under Gentry? Like, that's something that is going to be interesting to see. One thing about Walton was he just didn't. He's another coach that just ran these guys into like the ground. So I don't know. His just rotations were tough at times. Maybe Metu. I for DFS. But my two favorite plays, definitely Yang and Seth Curry.
I think you go to the Sixers side here. I mean, I guess if you had like an idea of where Gentry's going to go, but I think this Kings lineup, first of all, there's no injuries, right? So probably a deep rotation. And I think it's hard to really tell, like, who does Gentry like that Walton didn't like, right? Which lineup does he run? I know the one that a lot of the Kings fans were calling for, and I think it's the best five, right, would be Mitchell, Halliburton, Fox, Barnes, and Holmes, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they only played like 18 out of 700 possible minutes so far this year, or whatever the ridiculous stat was I read this season. So it'll be interesting to see who gets the bump. You know, maybe a little more Davion Mitchell. He seems like an Alvin Gentry type of guy. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Sacramento here in this spot. Philly's missing Embiid still. Tobias out. They're really nowhere for the points to come from except for Tyrese Maxey and Seth Curry. Yeah. So I think Sacramento wins this game easily. I think it'd be hilarious to watch Bagley just turn into like a solid player under entry.
It could happen.
That would be absolutely hilarious.
That's not the craziest thing, right?
But like I think the name you picked on that I think Gentry's going to go right to on this bench is Davion Mitchell. I think he's going to love the high motor on him, the defense. He's going to put him out there. His points prop 7.5 right now. I'm taking the over there all day.
Oh, I like that.
I love Davion Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like Patrick Beverley can actually shoot threes.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Patrick Beverley can shoot threes.
That's 7.5. Give me the over on that all day.
Bobby, Andre Drummond down to 7,800 after he was living in 8K land for a little while. At 7,800, is he priced correctly, or is there any value at all?
He's priced pretty good. He's like, I think there's some value still to squeeze out of him. I don't hate Drummond. I don't hate the Drummond call, but he'd be my third favorite Sixer behind Yang and Curry.
All right, so we've got that out of the way. So thank you, everybody. Guys, you know, I usually have Bobby build a core, but there's so much news tonight. I feel like it's just going to be thrown out. So if you guys watch the show, you know that who he likes and who he doesn't. And I think a lot of this stuff is going to depend on the news that shakes out, right? I mean, couldn't you see a lot of these things changing as we get, you know, Thunder become in play if there's no SGA, right? If we get confirmed Tobias Harris, I think Niang and them get much stronger. But we are going to give out best bets. So we will start with you, Bobby. As far as side totals and props, what's your best bet for the day?
I'm going to take the Houston Rockets covering versus the Celtics.
All right. I love it. All right. Bobby is definitely taking a stand. He's coming on the show, and he's not being shy, guys. That's a big bald bet right there to go ahead and take this Houston Rockets team against the Boston Celtics. Tyler, who do you like?
I'm taking Garland under that 2.5 rebounds at -110. I just don't see him grabbing any rebounds tonight.
All right. And my best bet for the night, see, the Kings are out to 4. So why don't I slide back into the Timberwolves at -3. I do like Minnesota to get it done here. I like the way that they're playing. I think Chris Finch is doing a great job. Hopefully the Kings can get a young, exciting coach like the way Chris Finch is building around that team. And I just think it's too much. It's going to be almost one. Ingram's going to feel like he's playing 1-on-3 going against those 3 scorers there tonight. So I do like Minnesota to get it done. Bobby, do you want to let everybody know where they can find all the great content you're producing this week?
Yeah, Bobby Gomes DFS on Twitter, and then got some. I think I'm on Up to Lock for NBA on Thursday night at Run Pure Sports, and I'll have a core up, and then NFL shows Millie Roundtable Saturday night, and then the news dump with Holden and Tambo. Interesting show, definitely tune in.
That's a fun show. So guys, if you haven't seen that,
none of us know what's actually going on.
Well, that's why it's called the news dump, right? Because you guys are getting the news and you have to react to it right away. But I think that you guys do a great job. And Holden, everyone likes to make fun of him, but I think he does a pretty good job of navigating the ins and outs of how tough it is to get that news and just process it right away. Tyler, thank you very much for joining us. We are going to go tomorrow. We'll be back for an NBA rundown at this time, 3:30 Eastern, and then we'll go ahead and do our NFL show in the afternoon after that, probably right around 5 p.m. Eastern. But guys, thank you guys for hanging out. Please check out runpuresports.com. Use the promo code GETBETS to become a member on both sides. You want to get access to these bets. You want to get access to these plays. You want to get access to all the live shows and the content that we are producing. Tyler's been on a heater. Score with D's been on a heater. JJ's been doing great. And of course, we know how well the Sports Keg consistently does when it comes to betting the NFL. So thank you, everybody, for watching us, and run pure.